For almost 20 years, Assassin's Creed has taken us across ancient kingdoms, pirate seas, and revolutionary cities. We remember the incredible parkour, the hidden blades, and the unforgettable assassinations. But beneath all the action lies something much deeper: loss. Every assassin has sacrificed something. Some lost their families, others lost their closest friends, and a few lost themselves entirely. Today, we're counting down the 10 saddest moments in Assassin's Creed history. These aren't just emotional scenes, they're the moments that shaped legions and stayed with players long after the credits rolled. Let's begin. Number 10, Yusuf Tazim's Final Sacrifice, Assassin's Creed Revelations. When Ezio first arrived in Constantinople, he expected another mission. Instead, he found a brother. Yusuf Tazim wasn't just another assassin. He was charismatic, fearless, and always able to make Ezio smile, even during the darkest moments. While Ezio searched for Altair's hidden secrets, Yusuf became his closest ally in the city. But Assassin's Creed rarely rewards happiness. During the Templar assault, Yusuf fought until his very last breath to protect the Brotherhood. By the time Ezio reached him, it was already too late. There was no dramatic speech, no miracle, only silence. Ezio had already buried his father, his brothers, and countless friends. Now, another loyal companion was gone. Sometimes the strongest friendships don't last the longest. Number 9, Phoebe's Death, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. In a world filled with mercenaries, kings, and endless war, Phoebe was different. She wasn't a warrior. She wasn't an assassin. She was simply a little girl who believed the world could still be kind. She admired Cassandra like a hero and dreamed of becoming brave enough to help others one day. But innocence has never survived long. In the world of Assassin's Creed, caught in a conflict she could never understand, Phoebe paid the ultimate price. What made this moment so heartbreaking wasn't just her death, it was Cassandra's reaction. For one of the few times in the entire game, she couldn't save the person who needed her most. No matter how powerful a hero becomes, some battles can never be won. Number 8, Mario Auditore's Death, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Mario wasn't just Ezio's uncle. He was his mentor, his protector, the man who transformed a frightened young noble into an assassin. Whenever Mario appeared, players knew everything would be all right. He was strong, confident, and impossible not to like, which is exactly why his death hurt so much. The attack happened suddenly. Before anyone had time to react, one of the Brotherhood's greatest leaders was gone. For Ezio, it wasn't only the loss of another family member, it was the loss of the man who had taught him how to stand back up after losing everything. Even heroes need someone to believe in them, and Ezio had just lost that person. Number 7, Connor watches his world burn, Assassin's Creed 3. Connor's story begins with tragedy. Before he ever carried a hidden blade, before he ever became an assassin, he was simply a child who watched helplessly as his village burned around him. His mother did everything she could to protect him, but sometimes courage isn't enough. The flames consumed everything Connor had ever known. His home, his family, his childhood. That single day changed his future forever. It replaced innocence with revenge, hope with determination, and it set Connor on the path that would define his entire life. Some heroes are created by destiny, others are created by grief. Number 6, The Death of Camus, Assassin's Creed Origins. Every great revenge story begins with loss, but few begin with pain as devastating as this. Bayek wasn't searching for glory. He wasn't fighting for power. He was simply a father who wanted his son to be safe. Instead, one terrible moment changed everything. The accident shattered Bayek's world and destroyed the peaceful life he had built with his family. From that day forward, every enemy he hunted carried a piece of his heartbreak. Every victory felt empty. Every battle reminded him of what could never be brought back. The birth of the Hidden Ones was inspired by justice, but it was fueled by unimaginable loss. Number 5. Elise's Final Battle, Assassin's Creed Unity. Arno and Elise spent most of their lives fighting against fate. One was raised by assassins, the other belonged to the Templars. Every time they found each other, the world found another reason to tear them apart. Despite everything, they believed there was still hope, that maybe love could succeed where centuries of war had failed. Their final battle was supposed to end that conflict once and for all. Instead, it ended their story. Elise refused to walk away, determined to finish the fight no matter the cost. Moments later, that decision claimed her life. Arno didn't just lose the woman he loved. He lost the future they had dreamed about together. Sometimes the greatest victory still feels like defeat. Number 4. The Execution of Ezio's Family, Assassin's Creed 2. Every assassin has an origin. Ezio's began on the darkest day of his life. Only hours earlier, he was an ordinary young man enjoying life in Florence. He had friends, a loving family, a future full of possibilities. Then everything changed. His father and brothers were arrested, accused of crimes they never committed. Ezio believed justice would prevail. Instead, he watched. Number 3. Edward Kenway realizes what truly matters, Assassin's Creed 4. Black Flag. Edward Kenway spent years chasing freedom. He wanted wealth, fame, adventure. He believed that becoming a legend meant collecting treasure and making a name for himself, but every choice came with a cost. One by one, the people closest to him disappeared. Friends who had laughed beside him were gone. Allies who had trusted him were gone. Even the victories no longer felt meaningful. By the end of his journey, Edward finally understood something that had taken an entire lifetime to learn. The greatest treasure was never gold. It was the people he had lost along the way. That realization transformed him from a selfish pirate into a true assassin. Number 2. Altair's Final Rest, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Long before Ezio became a legend, there was Altair ibn la-Ahad. He dedicated his entire life to protecting knowledge and guiding the Brotherhood. Years passed. Empires rose and fell. Friends disappeared. Enemies became history. When Altair entered the hidden library for the final time, he wasn't searching for glory. He wasn't preparing for one last battle. He simply accepted that his journey had reached its end. He left behind wisdom instead of power, hope instead of fear. Even after death, his legacy continued to shape every assassin who followed. Some heroes change history while they live. Others continue changing it long after they're gone. Number 1. Ezio finds Altair, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Few moments in gaming carry the emotional weight of this ending. After years of searching, Ezio finally reached the legendary library built by Altair. He expected unimaginable knowledge, ancient secrets, perhaps even a weapon. Instead, he found something far more powerful. Silence, there, resting peacefully, was the man whose footsteps he had unknowingly followed for years. Separated by centuries, they had lived remarkably similar lives. Both sacrificed everything. Both carried impossible burdens. Both gave their lives to a cause greater than themselves. In that quiet room, Ezio realized his own journey was complete. He no longer needed to chase answers. He had finally found peace, not through victory, not through revenge, but through understanding. It wasn't just the end of Ezio's story. For millions of fans, it was one of the most beautiful endings ever created in a video game.